Hey everybody, this is Zombie for Zombie Tactical Training, and today I got a very close call for one officer video to share with you. We're going to be talking about being ambushed. We're going to talk about getting off the X once you have been ambushed. And we're going to talk about shooting with a flashlight or night shooting. So without further ado, let's take a look at this video.
47 on scene.
What do you say? 4-8. See if she'll give you the garage code if she wants us to check on him. Here he comes.
Already going.
Here he is. Here he is.
Use your hands!
Show us your hands! Show us your hands! Show us your hands! Show us your hands!
Guns by the front door.
Show us your hands! Show us your hands! Hey,
There, you good?
I'm good. I think I'm good.
Move back! Step back!
Back up, we'll handle it.
Okay.
Alright, so that was definitely a close one. This was actually a welfare check that these officers were on. So first thing we have to do is talk about ambush. Now if you're a law enforcement officer or a self-defender, you're always at the end of a deficit. It's always the bad guy gets to choose when the ambush happens. As you can see here, right there the shot breaks. Barely missed that officer's head. And now you'll see how she ducks down, draws her weapon. This is basically point shooting. She just fires in the direction, basically aims the weapon at the direction of where the shooter was. I don't even know if she has a visual on him at this point. And then shines her flashlight that she has in her support hand, her left hand, and there gets in to try to get a visual on the shooter. The last I heard, the guy was in critical condition, so I don't know if he finally passed away or not. So she did some things really well here. Number one, with the ambush, like I said, if you're a law enforcement officer or self-defender, you're at a deficit, so you always have to be ready. Even if you're on a mundane call like this, as a law enforcement officer, you have to be ready to be ambushed, especially nowadays. And in the military, one of the first things you need to do, they taught us, is to get off the X. So if you're being ambushed, like where she was standing, that guy turned and fired, and she ducked down, which was about the best thing she could do in the position she was at to get out of the way of where that guy was firing. And that was like her version of getting off the X. So it was a good move. And she immediately drew her firearm and fired very quickly back at the suspect, which is obviously the correct thing to do. My only complaint would be she's using her flashlight that's in her support hand. I'm not going to give her any grief about using only one hand for the shooting because of the situation. She did have a flashlight in her left hand. So I guess she should have dropped that. The second that the shooting happened, but I'm not going to fault her too much for that. She did a great job drawing her weapon and point shooting with one hand. Did enough to survive, so obviously it worked. But I don't like the fact that when she stands up and she's trying to look into the room, she's using the flashlights in her left hand. She has a flashlight on her firearm that's mounted on her firearm. That's what she should be using, and that way she'd have two hands on the gun rather than that. I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure at that moment she was rattled, so it wasn't really thinking. And probably that handheld flashlight's a little bit brighter, but if you have the option, drop that handheld flashlight and go with your firearm flashlight, especially in a shooting situation like this. But yeah, so to recap, if you're a good guy, you're at a deficit. Bad people can attack you whenever they feel like it. So you have to be prepared for an ambush at all times, especially a law enforcement officer on what should be a routine call. Getting off the X, once that ambush is sprung, you need to get out of the ambush area or the kill zone. In this case, it happened to be right there alongside the door, kind of backed up on the entryway there. And she did about the best job she could to get off the X there. And shooting with a flashlight. Now, if you have a flashlight mounted on your firearm, that's what you need to be using in a tactical shooting situation, not using the handheld flashlight. But all in all, this officer did an outstanding job and did enough to save her own life and had very quick reflexes. And all in all, just an outstanding job by this officer. So definitely Zombie salutes her.